Hi, all, and welcome to Literature of the Bible. I'm Professor Tina Good, and we are going to be studying the Bible together. I'm so glad you have chosen to enroll in this class. I think you will find the Bible quite a fascinating text. First, let me say, though, we are not reading the whole Bible. That would take way longer than one semester. So don't worry about that. We will be taking select texts from the Old Testament, what is known as the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament. Second, I want to make sure that you understand that this is not a Bible study class. That is to say that this is not a religious class. Um, it is not a class that is going to ask religious interpretation courses. While we cannot and will not ignore the fact that the Bible is a foundational text for foundational religions around the world, we will be asking different sets of questions. This is not to say that the questions asked through religious interpretation are not valid, but we will be examining the Bible as a literary, cultural, and historical text. Therefore, we will not be treating it as a sacred text any more than we would say treat a Shakespeare play as a sacred text, although for me, they're pretty sacred. But we will not be looking at it in that way. Therefore, you do not need to have any previous experience with the Bible, right? You don't have to have a Christian background, a background in Judaism, or some other background that had you study the Bible. Um, you do not need to have any of that, to be successful in this class, okay? Um, so not to worry about that. This class, how it will be looking at God as a character, even a changing character. I do know that there are some religions that do not support this kind of academic questioning and interpretation of the Bible, or even God as a character. So, if this is something that you cannot do because of your own convictions, you should drop this class now. You should still be able to get into another literature class if you act quickly. Okay. But I do hope that everyone stays in the class. I think that you will find our study of the Bible very interesting. The theme of our class is going to be the scarlet women of the Bible. Now, listen, we can't look at the women without looking at the men. We can't look at Eve without looking at Adam. We can't look at Sarah without looking at um, Abraham. We can't look at Delilah, right, without looking at Samson. You get the point. But often the women of the Bible are overlooked, are marginalized, even demonized. And so this class hopes to give them just a little bit, more voice as we take a look at them. And in this class, we will also be reading a novel called The Red Tent. Okay, so why are we reading this? Well, this novel is, by definition, is going to be fiction. Okay, so the plot line, will be something that has been imagined, but it is a historical novel, and it will present historical and a cultural context in a way that, I think is just more interesting than what I could possibly do through lecture. And so also, it also hits at our theme, the Scarlet Women of the Bible, in an interesting way. The main plot, however, as I said, is imagined, and it imagines a story for Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, right? And what her life might have been like. She only gets 4 or 5 lines in the Bible, and yet, what happens to her and her character is a major turning point for Genesis and even the Bible later on. And so this novel begins to like imagine what it might have been like to be the daughter of Dina within the historical and cultural context of the time. Of course, this class will also be developing your interpretation and analytical skills, and how to write about those interpretations and analysis. Okay, this is a fully online class, although I will be hosting optional weekly Zoom sessions. So I hope that you can all attend, but as long as I have 7 students regularly attending, I will continue to host these Zooms. Um, it's a great way for connecting with me, for connecting with each other as we explore the text. So if you have the time, students really do enjoy these sessions. But if you can't because of a time conflict, I get it. And don't worry, you can still be very successful in the course, without attending those Zoom sessions, as long as you know, read the text, watch the videos, get your work submitted on time, you're going to do fine. Please note, though, that although this is a fully online course, it is not a self-paced course. Sometimes students get confused by that, right? So you will have weekly activities and assignments that you will have to do each week and submit on time in order to be successful in the class. Okay, so what are the required texts? Okay, so the first one is, and this is important, guys, this is important, is this text, the New Oxford Bible. Okay, this is the one I want you to get. Even if you have other Bibles laying around, this is the one that you want to have. Okay, and it's pretty cheap. So hopefully you can get this, or check it out somewhere. It is an academic translation of the Bible. Okay, so things, once you watch the videos, you're going to see that the Bible, of course, is translation, right? We couldn't read it in the ancient languages, right? With interpretation comes agenda, comes, sort of the way that you interpret it comes from your own cultural context, right? And so we want to try in a literary study class to get like the most sort of objective, if you will, translation. And this is the one that has been accepted as at least more academically suitable. What you don't want to use for sure is the King James Version, right? The King James Version was written for a very specific reason, through King James's purposes. And so we want to stay away from the King James Version. If you have, something that you want to run by me to see if it's okay, sure, we can set up a Zoom session for that. But honestly, I think it's just easier if you get the Oxford edition. Make sure that the Oxford edition does have the Apocrypha. Okay, that's another thing the King James Version doesn't have. We are going to be studying some stories from the Apocrypha. Okay, so make sure that you get the Oxford edition with the Apocrypha. Okay, and then the novel reading is the red tent, and it looks like this. Okay, and it's pretty available at libraries or whatever, but it's also, I think, not too expensive to get, and you can also find this digitally. Okay, all right. So, as you know, the main course is, hosted on Brightspace. So I thought I'd take a moment here to show you how I have organized the class. I'm sure by now most of you are pretty familiar with Brightspace, and that's great. But I do know that professors tend to set up these classes differently. So I thought I'd take some time to show you how I have set it up. Okay, so first of all, this is the homepage. And this is going to be where, your announcements are already posted, one announcement here, right? And so, you can keep track of those. Your announcements, depending on how you've set up your notifications, should also go to your email. And this is a place where, I'm not only going to set reminders, but things that come up that I think are important. This is a way for me to communicate with the entire class at one time. You'll see here, you have work to do, things like that. But guys, remember, this is not a complete list. Okay, so while this is nice and it's a nice reminder of what you need to do, it's not going to be complete. So, pay attention to this, but know that it's not complete and that you're going to have to go to the learning modules, which I'll show you in just a moment, in order to have a complete list of what you need to do that week. Okay, all right. So just put this down. And this is what I call the top toolbar, right? So when I send you instructions, this is the top toolbar. And when you click on content, which is where our course resides, you'll see what I call the left toolbar. Okay, and this is what gets us into the course. Okay, so first of all, we'll go to the syllabus. And we'll see that you have the syllabus posted online in full as a Microsoft Word document. Okay, but pretty much everything from the syllabus has also been put into course information. Okay, so if we look at course information, you'll see there's same thing that's in the syllabus, the online course information, right? Okay, and like, for example, you'll see here's my office hours. We don't really have office hours, but if you happen to be on campus, you can come visit me because I do have face-to-face office hours. But, the best way to get a hold of me is through email. Remember, you cannot email me using your personal email address. We are not allowed to communicate with you about classes through that venue. It's a matter of privacy. But also do not use the Brightspace email. I am not responding to any emails sent through Brightspace or any instant messages sent through Brightspace. So you must use your SUNY Suffolk Outlook account. If you email me between 10 and 5 on Mondays and Wednesdays, you can expect pretty quick responses. I'm at my computer all the time during that time, and I'll get back to you pretty quickly. You can email me other times, that's fine, but you just might not get as quick of a response. Okay, also, students do like, this is completely optional, but students do like to download the Bytespace app called Pulse. All right, make sure that you download the correct app. That's right here. It looks like this, right? It does not replace the use of a computer, just doesn't. But it's really good at, like getting notifications as if I've uploaded anything to the course site. Maybe you're waiting for a grade to come in. Maybe you're, if I put an announcement out, you'll get a notification. So that's very helpful. Okay. So also, when we're talking about email, right, just be sure that whenever you email me, that you put Bible in the subject line. I'm teaching many courses, so this way I know what course you're in and I can answer your questions much more quickly. Okay, so just be sure that you do that. And please note that I do not check emails on Sundays. So be aware of that because a lot of your due dates are going to be on Sunday. And so if you have any sort of last minute like questions on Sunday that you're planning to do all your work on Sunday, don't expect to get any responses from me. So you might want to not save all your work until Sunday in case you have questions. Okay. All right. So we go down, past requirements, right? Obviously, we're going to have essays and writing responses. You'll submit all of those on Brightspace. And just note that Brightspace is not always friendly to, various platforms or browsers that you might be using. Okay, so I recommend that you use Microsoft Word. It does seem to be the friendliest, and you do have free access to that as a Suffolk student. But if you're not using that, whatever you're using, you need to convert it to a PDF. Just know that it is not friendly to Pages. It's really not friendly to Google Docs, right? So you're going to have to convert those to a PDF, and it could still glitch, right? Brightspace is not friendly to the Safari browser for some reason. So if you're glitching and you're using the Safari browser, change your browsers. It seems to work best with Firefox or Google Chrome. For some reason, also, it might glitch with Mac computers. I don't know why, but I've had students have trouble with that, especially if you're using Mac computer plus Safari. It's just not going to upload. So try changing your browser, or maybe you'll have to go to the library and use a PC. Okay. Quizzes. Right. So this is important, guys. So the quizzes are going to be, just as the assignments are going to be linked under the particular module that they're assigned. But if you wanted to get a jump start on reading the Red Tent, you don't have to just go to the learning module. You could actually go to quizzes right now. And I have those quizzes opened up, right? So you don't have to wait until the quiz is due to take the quiz. You could take the quiz now, and get it submitted prior to the due date. Quizzes are open book. They are not timed. They are not meant to trick you. They are simply meant to help guide your reading. Okay. And so that's why I leave it open book, and you can simply start reading it and taking the quiz along with your reading, so that you get a jump start on that prior to the due dates. But, just make sure you have them submitted by the due dates. And when I open up those modules, you'll also see links, but this is another way to access assignments and quizzes up here. Okay, so going back to content, I do want to, I do want to also highlight that you can get extra credit in this class, right? And so all you have to do is, if you are doing some kind of work or extracurricular activity that has something to do with the Bible, you can write a one-page response and submit it under assignments, and you can get extra credit. For example, what if you find another book that has something to do with the Bible, right? And you read that novel, you can get a lot of extra credit points for that. Maybe you want to read something in the Bible that we're not reading, that would be fine. You can also watch movies. There are a lot of movies based on the Bible. So while you might not get as much extra credit points for that, it's still extra credit. So, you could watch a movie based on the Bible that comes out of the Bible. And I guarantee you there will be a lot coming out around Passover and around Easter. There always are. So watch out for that. And you can submit one extra credit response per week. And that does not mean you can submit 15 at the end of the semester, right? You have to submit it that week. If you miss a week, then that's it. You've missed that week. But it is an opportunity for you to do a little exploration of the Bible outside of the class and get some credit for it. Okay. All right. So also, if you look up here, the top toolbar, this is where you can find your grades, right? I post them, they're live. So as soon as they are posted, you will get, you will see that what your grade is. This will be important because you can not only see what your grade is, but if there's a mistake, you can let me know. And we can get that corrected right away. All right, so the learning modules, right? The place that's most important for you. Okay. Um, it's here. You'll see we already have one posted, the Getting Starting module, and you'll see that this shows everything that I want you to do this week, right? So here is the list. This is your kind of your checklist, if you will. Read through the syllabus, download the Pulse app if you'd like, watch video accessing course on Brightspace, watch video on taking quizzes on Brightspace, take syllabus quiz, watch the film The Scarlet Woman of the Bible, and start reading The Red Tent. Okay. Um, all right. So if we go back, then we'll see it's kind of not, one-stop shopping. Here's the link to the syllabus quiz. Here's the link to the film. Here's the link to the Brightspace videos, all right there in the module. So this is kind of one-stop shopping, right? But if you should forget, like where was that? What week did we watch the film Scarlet Women of the Bible? You don't have to go through all of them. Just come here to course content. And this is kind of, a place where I store, it's your library of everything you're going to see in the modules, right? So here's your Brightspace videos. Here's the videos that I have not created, right? The ones that, the Scarlet Women of the Bible, who wrote the Bible, outside videos that I have not created. And then lecture notes, which will be all the videos that I do create for the purposes of this class, okay, and PowerPoints and whatnot. So while they'll be in the modules, if you forget where the videos are, you can simply come back to course content and you'll see a full library of them there. Okay, so I think that's about everything I need to go over in this first video. I'm looking forward to working with all of you as we study this very fascinating text. Good luck. I hope I see you sometime in the Zoom sessions, and have a great semester.